If you want to become great at something, at anything, then listen to this. Why do people not even try to be great? There's a secret hiding in plain sight that I'm not sure if you're aware of. And that's this. Most people never commit to and act in pursuit of greatness. They don't try to be great or elite or excel. They accept being okay. They accept being average. Why? Well, the reason is not because it's so hard to be great, because then we would see a lot more people trying to be great and then simply not being great because they are not good enough or they don't have resources. We would see people expending significant energy all over the place in pursuit of their vision of greatness or an objective version of elite. And they just wouldn't be good enough because it was so crowded, so overwhelmingly full. Being aware of the mental and emotional reasons why people don't even pursue elite, they don't even try and attempt to be great, gives you the awareness to make that attempt, to actually try. And this is what's interesting. Because most people never actually try in a real way, if you do try in a real way, you gain a massive advantage. I've identified 14 traps that people fall into that prevent them from even really trying. And before I get into the 14 traps, I want you to take a few seconds to pause. I want you to take a few seconds of a deep breath, and I want you to think about yourself. I want you to think about your situation. And I want you to take that deep breath. And I want you to prepare yourself to have high levels of awareness as you listen to these 14 traps, for which ones of them fit you, for which ones of them uniquely apply to you. Take as much time as you need to, and let's get into these 14. So why do people not even try to be great? Well, here's the 14 things that I have found. Number one, it looks and feels too hard to pursue whatever picture of greatness they have in their mind. Number two, they're comfortable enough where they are right now. Number three is fear. Fear of what? I've found 6 major things: failure, success, mistakes, rejection, the unknown, and uncertainty. Number 4, they don't know how to pursue great. Number 5, they're unsure which direction to actually take. Number 6, they're stuck being indecisive. Number 7, they're full of self-doubt. Number 8, they don't believe it's worth the effort. Number 9, they want a guarantee before starting. This is particularly something that adults do a lot more often than young people do. Number 10, they don't believe they actually belong in an area of greatness or among the elite of a particular crowd. Number 11, they're unwilling to detach from a certain personal relationship that wouldn't be able to be maintained if you pursued greatness. Number 12, they feel like they need someone else's permission. Number 13, they're busy chasing somebody else's approval. And number 14, they feel an existing sense of belonging in the group that they currently belong to, that average middle group. What's so fascinating about this list of 14 mental and emotional traps is that these are all choices, thoughts, stories you tell in your head, or actions you engage in or don't engage in. Anything on this list that you recognize in you can be improved by you. That should give you confidence. Where do these traps make themselves known? Where do they show up? Well, early in our life at a basic level, they show up when you're asking somebody on a date and the fear of failure kicks in. Never mind the fact that you're already not dating that person, and if they said no after you asked them, you still wouldn't be dating them. You feel a sense of fear and rejection if you were to even try. And it's easy to convince yourself not to try rather than it is to try and risk potential failure and embarrassment. And what happens? Well, that scales up because it also applies in marriages. We'll be afraid in a marriage. A person will be afraid in a marriage to say something and look vulnerable or to pursue something better in that relationship for fear of changing the dynamic that their partner might not come with them. And they will accept average rather than pursue great because they're not sure that their partner wants to go that direction and it might damage the belonging they have. It also shows up in things like sales and in leadership or in any creative work like shooting or filming a video or writing a book or putting things out on social media. Anytime we look at becoming or trying to or pursuing greatness, we have to address these 14 mental and emotional traps. How do you train yourself then to address these traps, all 14 of them? Well, obviously you can't go through all 14 at any moment in your life where you might be sensing them and feeling them. So you have to commit to the long haul of building skill, first awareness, then skill on how to address these when they show up. And so here's an easy way to just integrate this into your day-to-day. Start creating a trigger point of self-awareness. Whenever you are going to pursue something great, or you think about pursuing greatness in some form, or doing something challenging and valuable, or maybe another way to think of it, something that would be valuable if you did it, but has a challenging aspect to it. What I want you to think of is I want you to raise your awareness. Again, create this trigger point. Anytime you're pursuing greatness, anytime you're doing something valuable, but challenging and difficult, raise your awareness of that voice in your head that tries to convince you not to do it. What's it saying? What rationale is it using? What strategies is it deploying to try to convince you, it's not really worth it? What if this? What if that? Oh, you're better off if. What is that voice saying? And I want you to raise your awareness of the voice and listen to it. Not because I want you to absorb that voice. I don't. I want you to reject that voice. But first, you need to be aware of what it's saying so that you don't believe and buy in to those strategies and to the beliefs it's trying to get you to pull in. Once you're aware of the voice, you can now start to mentally and emotionally recognize it and reject it. The personal value of overcoming these mental and emotional traps is extraordinary for your life. There is so much anxiety. There is so much negativity. There is so much negative, disruptive emotional energy that gets consumed because of these mental traps. And we think that they're created by the external world, when in reality, they're created by us. They're created by you. And the personal value, regardless of what you actually achieve, regardless of whether you become great, the personal value of not carrying these burdens with you, of not falling into these traps, is worth everything to your life, regardless of what you achieve. But the strategic value of overcoming these traps is also significant. If you are a competitor, you're a better competitor because you're not in these traps. If you're a producer, you're a better producer because you're not caught in these traps. If you're a parent, if you're a husband or a wife or a friend, or you just want to impact the world in a meaningful way, these traps will prevent you from having the impact that you want to have. And I believe the world deserves the best version of you. So what about you? What do you think? Why do people not even try to be great? Let me know what you think in the comments. Everything is training for something. Do the work.